everyone, my name is Kristen Marie. I'm an esthetician, YouTuber, mom. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm excited to dive into part 2 of my full and honest review series of the Zemits Verstand HD Hydrodermabrasion system, as well as the Adrinox 2.0, which is their microcurrent device. Now, if you're already sold on purchasing this device, you can go ahead and use my affiliate link down below for a generous discount. But if you're still on the verge of making a decision, then you're definitely going to want to tune in for this series. Know that I've made other reviews about other devices and products and brands. Be sure to check out that playlist down below. And without further ado, let's dive right into part 2. Alright y'all, so in part 1 we did an unboxing of the Verstand HD and the Adrinox 2.0. Now I have it right here next to me on its little cart here. I'm actually probably going to switch up the angle a little bit later in this video so that you can actually see the machine itself. Of course, there's a lot of different facts and specs about this machine. If you want to go ahead and read more specifically about the device that I received, because I know on their website they have multiple types of hydrodermabrasion machines, but if you want to know the one I specifically got, you're going to want to look up the Zemits Verstand HD 8-in-1 hydrodermabrasion system. I had chose this one because it had been awarded a 2024 Dermascope Award and LNE and Spa's Best Product 2024 winner. So this machine has definitely been getting some recognition in the market, in our industry, and I had to get my hands on it. So thank you again, Zemits, so much for partnering with me, and I'm really excited to be able to give my honest, full feedback about this device. Now, I'll be honest, I have not done a treatment just yet. I am scheduled to do my first one-on-one Zoom call with Olha, who is the product director at Zemits, who wanted to personally train me on this device. And so I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be bringing in a friend of mine to be a model for my very first treatment on her. And so I do plan on filming some of that for part 3 of this series and sharing with you that experience and just the first overall impressions and how that went. So stay tuned for that. Based on your state and regulations, you're double checking with your state board which modalities are going to be allowed in your state. I know here in California we are prohibited from doing certain modalities, and so this machine does come with one modality that is not particularly allowed to be performed in our state. So I did actually ask them to give me a replacement modality, which I believe you can do with a lot of their devices, and if you speak with a representative there, they can actually swap out a device or modality for you on this machine. So what I did is I replaced the radio frequency with the dual facial sculptor, which is this, modality here where you use 2 little probes to infuse serum into the skin. Maybe for you, if you're located in a different state or somewhere else, I know Zemits also is selling their devices in the UK and other countries, so check them out, check out the website and see if they sell devices near you. But anyways, so I wanted to dive in a little bit more of the machine itself. Just first overall impressions, I'm very impressed by just the look and feel of this device. I've had it set up for a little bit now, and when clients come in, they immediately look at it and they're like, ooh, what's that? And so just a little tip for you if you want to actually start to market any new treatment in your treatment rooms is to start talking about it even before you receive the item or the device, because the more excited you are about something, the more excited your clients will get. And so now that I've had this device set up, they already knew it was coming. I'd been telling them that, hey, I'm getting a new device, blah, blah, blah. And so now that it's set up and they see it, they're excited even more. Just know that in the online training and materials that they provide for you, they do let you know kind of what the typical charge should be for this treatment. And of course, that's going to vary depending on where you're located and what other salons and studios are charging for this treatment. For me personally, I'm going to be only offering this in an 80-minute service. Given that it has so many modalities and features to it, I don't anticipate I'll be able to do a treatment like this within 50 minutes. It just doesn't seem thorough enough, if that makes sense, and I want the client to be able to experience it in its fullness. So comment below actually any questions that you have for me about this device, about Zemits. I really want your guys' questions so that I can make sure to answer them throughout this series. As far as the design of it, it is very eye-catching. It was pretty easy to set up. They have icons and text on the machine itself of where to plug things in. They also do provide a little tutorial on the online training so that you have a little bit more guidance with setting it up. Don't tune out yet, because I will be providing some of my feedback and just giving you a little sneak preview of what to expect in the online training. So with just the device itself, I am glad that I ended up getting the cart that Zemits retails to have it displayed on, only because the carts that I have in the studio are not big enough to carry this device. It does have kind of a unique shape to it. With it being slanted, it does cover the cords really nicely in the back, and it makes it still have a very clean appearance in the front. But because it is at a slant and it's a little bit of a taller machine, you're going to want to make sure that you have a dolly or utility cart to be able to put it on top of, because with mine, at least, you're not going to be able to fit it underneath the shelf. Now, the microcurrent device, I was able to place that on the second shelf of my utility cart, and it fits nicely on there. It's a pretty small device, and again, pretty easy setup, very clear instructions on how to plug things in. And what I felt like was lacking a little bit on the online training was that there wasn't an actual tutorial of the buttons and the screens on both of the devices. There was kind of a general like, oh, okay, now you turn it up and now you select this. But I feel like I would have wanted even just like any like more dumbed down video tutorial of the device screen and buttons itself, just because like I would like to have a little more confidence with that. Even though I've played around with it a little bit, it is pretty easy to figure out, but I just feel like the more specific you could get, the better. Also, another thing that I would say as far as like the device itself and just the aesthetic of it and the ease of use, I guess, what I could see kind of being a little bit of an issue is that I don't have anywhere to place the tips that were given to me. I mean, yes, I can keep them in here just when they're clean and I'm not using them, but they do have a couple little divots on the top part where the other modalities sit. On here, there's some little rivets right here where you could actually place, you know, one of the tips in here and let it sit in there, but there's only 4 slots and there's definitely more than 4 tips. So I would say either add more spots for you to put tips, or I know on my other device they actually place it on the side here and you're able to put the tips kind of in a little shelving unit on the side, and you guys there's definitely room for it on the side if you were to redesign it to accommodate the tips better. Only because when I'm working on a client, I mean, I don't know how many tips you actually end up using. Maybe you only use about 4 tips in a service, but it would just be easier to be able to just grab it off the side versus having to like open this up and touch other things. I like to minimize how much I'm touching product or tools while I'm working on somebody. So that's my only other critique as far as the design of the machine itself, but everything else, I mean, yeah, I have no complaints about. So let's dive into the online training and kind of what you could expect with the online training. So they did give me this little folder here that has basically a QR code that you can scan for your trainings. I'm going to do a little screen record here so you can kind of see what to expect when you log into your training library. It is through aestheticschool.com. As you can see, I completed the lessons. They have provided a way to contact, and I do believe you have access to this library forever and ever. So if you need to go back to this training, you can, but here's what you can expect. You're going to do a video about Zemits and the Verstand technology, how to assemble your device, user's manual, because they don't actually give you a manual when you open up the machine, so you will have to download it on the training. Here's another topic that was discussed: hydrodermabrasion tips explained, products to get you started, and then the 3-part treatment tutorial where Olha runs through an entire treatment, goes through every single modality, so you kind of know what it's used for and how to use it and at what step of the treatment to use it, along with treatment protocols that you can download, and a Hydrodermabrasion scalp treatment protocol. And what else? There's quite a few videos. I want to say there's 22 videos, and they do break it down into micro tutorials. So like you'll see the skin scrubber tutorial, the eye mesotherapy tutorial, etc. But what this truly is just like a bite size of that whole Verstand treatment that Olha does in that 3 parts. So honestly, I feel like it was a little repetitive. I don't really feel like those videos really explained it any more thoroughly than Olha already did in those other videos. There's also aftercare client recommendation documents, consent form, sample, staff treatments, and then after this module, I believe there's another module. Maintenance and troubleshooting, so kind of walks through, it highlights just again Olha's training that highlighted how to clean the machine, the warranty. There is a 36-month warranty on both of these machines, and then it also has a troubleshoot for the Hydrodermabrasion, the oxygen sprayer, the radio frequency, also a bit about marketing, and then at the very end you'll take a knowledge tests for each of the machines that you purchase. The tests, they're pretty stinking easy. I passed both of them on the first try and they were not difficult. It's just to test your general knowledge of contraindications, if you understand when things should be used, what products should be applied, that kind of stuff. It's pretty easy, so don't be too afraid of that. So that's a Verstand training, the Adrinox training course, what to expect with that. So again, modules include introduction, Zemits Adrinox 2.0 operation, marketing, social media content, and the tests and Zoom training. So this one is a 28 lesson course. Let's go ahead and just click on one of these. So yeah, you'll be able to press the button to play the video. It also may have some text down here that you need to read. And then let's go into the next module here. So yeah, this is what it looks like. And the first video, the user's manual and video operation guide, is pretty darn thorough. I don't know what the other lady's name is that does the microcurrent training, but she explained how to use it pretty thoroughly. And then there's other kind of like smaller tutorials and protocols that you get to watch as well. So I did take a bunch of notes when I was taking the training, so I'm just going to kind of fork through them really quick and just give you kind of my overall thoughts about the training. I do believe that the trainings were very easy to navigate. I didn't find any trouble with accessing them or watching the videos. They were very clear, good quality. I do know that there was some that cut off. I know with the setup of the actual Verstand, there were some parts that I was a little like wanting more clarification about, and then the video cut off like right at the part where I needed it to instruct me about how to like set it up. Yeah, it's the installation video. So just so you guys know at Zemits that's a video that is cut off, and I do believe that it would be really helpful to have that full video on there so that I would feel a little more confident knowing that I had each thing plugged in correctly. I do think that the videos were thorough. I do feel, I would say on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 not being confident at all, 10 being very confident on performing a treatment after watching the tutorials, I would say I'm about at an 8, because I do feel like I need that hands-on guidance, and so I do really think it's a great idea that you guys have that one-on-one training. But as far as like if I were to just watch the training and do the treatment, I know when I was explaining to clients what each modem does, I felt confident explaining the benefits and how it works. and I do feel like the training really helped me to understand how each thing operates and how to do it correctly, and to sanitize the machine. I do wish that maybe some of the angles of the tutorials were a bit closer so that I could see the machine in action, so that, you know, I could get a little more thorough of a walkthrough of the machine itself, what buttons I need to press. When it comes to training somebody, you have to think about the very minute details that you might not think matter. And so I do feel like it would have been helpful to have, you know, in the videos, to kind of switch up the angle where it's like, okay, it's that bigger view of you working on the client, and then when you say, okay, now I'm changing this, then to switch the view to be able to close up to the machine so that we could see what you're doing on the machine, and then also some close-ups of the treatment being done on the client as well. And I think I would love to have had a little more guidance with what tips are good for who, you know, like I know you guys explained, you know, the numbering and what the benefits are in general, but I still kind of feel confused as to like which tip should I use for what person and for what. So I'm sure we'll talk about that more in the one-on-one training, but I think it would be helpful to put that into the online training as well. So also on here you get access to videos about marketing and promoting the machine, and then you do get access to a library of photos and videos and pre-made reels. I saw that more for the Adrinox. The Verstand HD, I wasn't able to access that library for some reason. So I don't know if that's just a one-off and I'm not able to access it, or if any of you have experienced that as well. Truthfully, I don't really even think I need it, to be honest, because I'm more savvy with creating content. But for some of you who want some pre-made content and a library of templates and things like that to be able to display in your studio or post on your pages, I do think that Zemits does a good job at covering that. It's just I couldn't access what you guys had for the Verstand HD. But from what I saw with the, and I'm pointing down here because the Adrinox is back here, and from what I saw for the Adrinox, I did like the materials that you provided. Now with the Adrinox, I feel like it would have been nice to have a poster explaining the benefits of microcurrent versus just saying Adrinox treatment, because no one really knows what that is. And also with the Verstand too, I would have liked a poster or some sort of post I could do that explains the benefits of Hydrodermabrasion. Also to email templates. I know that people had commented on some of these saying that they would like some email templates of what they could email blast their clients announcing these new treatments and the benefits and things like that. And you do get rewarded a certificate at the end of these trainings. So for the Verstand and the Adrinox, I downloaded 2 specific certificates that have my name on it, and up to you, you can display them in your room so people can see that you took the training. One other feedback would just be the length of the cord. I do feel like this is a little bit short on both machines actually, for, you know, just kind of assuming that most people have only a select amount of outlets in their rooms. I do feel like this could have been a little bit longer, just so that people could plug it in somewhere and roll it around, if that makes sense. Because especially if you envision someone using this on the face and the body, it's gonna need a little bit of a longer cord. You could get an extension cord, but I think maybe just even adding another foot or 2 wouldn't hurt. But not a deal breaker, but just something I noticed with both machines, that the cords were a little bit short. I think that's all I have to share in today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you have any more specific questions in regards to the training or setup or anything like that, be sure to pop them down below. Or if you have questions for a future episode in this series that you are curious and you want to know more information about the Verstand HD system or the Adrinox 2.0, and be sure to hit that subscribe button. I love you guys. I'll see you guys back here next week for a new one on Thursday, and until then, stay safe, and I'll see you then. Bye.